All right, and welcome everyone to session 12, the first part of part 4, Trials of Solaria, Broken Oaths, a Pathfinder First Edition actual play, run by myself and several of my friends. Also, we've got +5 to my roll, and thank you, Kale, for the Prime sub. I do appreciate it. Very kind of you, good sir. But I digress. But we've got 4 of my friends here. They're playing some... You know what? I think you're heroes. I think you're heroes. I don't know. I was talking to Axel about this the other day. You're not actively villains. You're working against the quote-unquote villains. That does, like, we're trying to answer that age-old question of when there are no heroes left, who steps up to the plate? And I think some guys step up to the plate, kind of. But enough out of me. Let's go around the table, introduce the players, and then we will dive right on in and get this action going. We'll start with Brian, Ezreal, Blau, Axel, and then Chewbacca. Take it away. Rambunctious? Can we call him Rambunctious? A rapscallion? Oh, a ragamuffin? Oh, I don't know. I don't know about all this. I don't know. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. That's good. That's good. All right. Go. Oh my
Oh
God. Did I
my.
forget to unmute you guys?
Is it session
Wow.
one all over again?
It's session 1 all over again. I swear to God, I clicked it. My bad, everybody. My bad. My bad. All right, Brian. This is Brian. He's playing Ezreal, who's an Asimur cleric but passes for human. This is Blau. He's bald and playing a cleric. Nope, we're a priest of Abadar. He's a good person. This is Axel.
Well, the cleric is.
He's Axel. He is a business person, Kitsune. And this is Chewbacca. And I think they're unmuted now. This is going terribly.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess we'll find out.
Axel,
Right.
take it away.
Maybe,
Yeah, it gets-
maybe
should-
50 minutes in.
You should do all our intros, honestly.
Remember when I
Like-
muted you guys? Remember I muted you guys for 45 minutes during session 1? Like, that's still a thing that exists on the internet. Like, if you go to YouTube, I'm like, sound starts 45 minutes in.
Oh boy.
So bad. And there was no way to save it because it was muted through OBS. Like, it's toast. That's never to exist again. There was some good stuff that
Nice.
happened, but it's okay. Let's see here. Yeah, go ahead, Axel. You can do your thing.
Yeah, I'm Axel. As Wolf said, I'm playing Mikhael, our Kitsune entrepreneur, business person, council member, etc.
Hi, I'm Drew. I'm playing Bix, the gnome hunter, and his faithful friend, Polly the weasel, the really big ass weasel. Bix is in way over his head, but he's coping because that's what you do.
That is true. That is exactly what you. And I, of course, am going to mute myself so the players don't feel left out as I introduce myself. All right. And so anybody that missed that, too bad. I was muted. So there you go. All right. But when we last left off, our intrepid adventurers, you all had, well, you had a good plan. And not that it's game master versus player, but you had foiled all issues that I had presented you with. And I guess one, I think, is what we decided. Like, you just win because you allied with some shadows. You took out apparently the weakest apostle. Some say the most powerful apostle. I don't know. But you killed an apostle by proxy. And
Somewhere in between the weakest and most powerful
I like
is
that.
this apostle.
Is this apostle?
And
Yeah.
so that's the same as being the most powerful apostle.
I
right?
agree. Anyone say no? No.
No,
Perfect.
somewhere
It was-
between
it was the-
like Badger
they were the most
and Asmodeus.
That's what
They
it
were-
takes.
They were the most powerful apostle in the building.
That is true. You know what? No one would argue that was true. That is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love it, even. And really just you'd taken back Varnhold for the rightful ruler, the Queen of Solaria. The mayor was put on trial, found guilty of sedition, and, well, at this point is still awaiting sentencing. They've been letting him rot in the jail, one of the jail cells of the local town guard barracks, just waiting. And the queen hasn't really made too much movement on what she's going to do with him, whether or not it's let him rot in jail forever or see him hung. She just likes to let him sit and kind of stew in his own sedition, as it were. But I want to hear from you guys about what your characters did over the last 2 months, because there were about 2 months since the end of last session. A little bit of downtime. I know Blau, your character had made some items. You'd messaged me, but I'd like to hear from everybody, just a little exposition of what your characters have been up to over the last 2 months in game. Let's start with Brian.
Ven has been laying low. He reinvested a bunch of his money back into the play. Has essentially been a patron of the arts, and otherwise has been trying to have the queen forget he exists.
That's wonderful. You did get some money back from the play, and I'm hoping you wrote that down. We talked about that offline, and the play itself has been a smash hit in Varnhold. But there's only so many opening nights you can have before everyone in town has seen it, and there is talk from Hermando of taking the play on the road, taking the play, the musical, as it were, not an opera, musical.
Just a musical.
It's like not as much music as Les Mis, but it's not all talking, if that makes sense. It's like 50-50. Is that
It's like a Disney movie.
It's like a Disney movie. Yeah, that's what we're going with. That's good. I like that. It's like
we're not doing the Solarian version of Hamilton.
God, no. Talk singing? No more talk singing, please. I love Hamilton. It's a great performance, but just no talk singing. All right. Good. Anything else, Ven, that is worth noting?
No, he's also been trying to do as little magic as possible, hoping that people forget he does magic too.
So Ven is trying to be forgotten, and that
erase his existence.
Wonderful.
Laying low.
Seems an awful lot like something an
an
apostle
apostle died here, so there's bound to be some investigation by the apostles.
Maybe.
And he doesn't want anybody to find out that he was an apostle, so doing as little as possible to draw attention to himself.
I love that. What about Eckerd? What was Eckerd up to over the last couple months?
Eckerd engaged in some good old mercantilism. He looked for, goods that the city was, previously imported from Solaria, and then thought, other countries have those goods to import. He worked with Sarah on some martial training because it seems like it's a bad place to be right now, and he doesn't want to leave her unprepared after he has to leave anyways.
But she's an awesome cleric fighter who can't be hit.
She is invincible, but invincible people can be tied up and like buried alive or something. It would be awful.
That would be a terrible way for her to go on forever. Yeah, that would be bad.
Forever. And then they forget about it, and then it keeps going forever after that.
No,
then the universe dies.
I don't like that.
No, yeah, exactly. I don't like that either.
Eventual heat death of the universe.
Exactly.
Then what's she gonna do?
Yeah, there's no more universe. She's still just sitting around.
That would be terrible.
That is rough.
He worked with Sarah, and I have her name in my notes, Jennifer, to finish that census he was working on after the Night of the Hags and expand it into this, and put together community support groups to help people that lost breadwinners or caretakers or whatever for their family. And finally, he did some crafting. When with his returns from his mercantilism, and also he swept up afterwards when he was done, because he might as well have a broom too after all the stuff he did.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. And what was the most important item that he made himself during the downtime?
Probably the boots of striding and springing, so he can actually move at full speed now.
He's quicker now. I love that.
Wow.
I love that. That is fantastic. Absolutely. Friggin' fantastic. So I'd like to know a little bit about how the training went with Sarah, and I'm going to leave this up to you, Eckerd. Did she take to martial training well, or is she maybe a little bit too rambunctious, or you tell me, how did she take to it?
I think that Sarah would take to the training well, but deal with issues and discipline in terms of fighting style. I think that she would make a good warrior, but an awful soldier.
I like that. She'd be a good adventurer, as it were.
Yes.
Like a cleric of the road, as it were, traveling around,
Yes.
not less so leading troops into battle, as it were. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna make note. I'm gonna make note for Sarah on that one. I like that a lot. So good fighter, bad soldier. Beautiful. And Axel, Mikhael, what have you been up to over these last couple of months?
Well, they have invested all of their money, except for like 100 gold for spending purposes, into the Clumsy Bear and become a part owner, I guess.
33%.
33%. Oh my,
It's not bad.
nice. It's cool. Let me just delete all this money real quick. Boom. All right. Cool. And yeah, they have been just going around trying to improve their reputation as much as they can, whether that's by helping people, doing more questionable things. And if the queen or the high priestess had any particular jobs for their talents, then they would have done that as well.
How is Mikhael with furnishing things?
Well, their taste is a bit gaudy, I would guess, but
The queen had requested, it was less an order and more of a request, that Mikhael have 100 banners of Solaria, with the flag of Solaria crafted over the course of these 2 months, if possible, because she wants to, well, hang several of them from the walls of this city as a big go F yourself, Godfrey.
well, they are a merchant, so they can handle the talking to craftsmen and getting things made.
Roll
part.
me a D100.
Sure.
Let's see how many were made. I really hope it's 99. 66. That's actually a lot of banners. I will go ahead and make note of that on the Queen's sheet. 66 banner flags of Solaria. Anything else of interest that Mikhael was up to over the last 2 months?
No, I'll probably talk to Perry if we end up leaving, but that hasn't happened yet, so let's leave that for now.
Oh yeah, Perry's been he's been enjoying this influx of foreign goods, but for different reasons than Eckerd might be enjoying it. So we'll talk about that later. But Bix, tell us what was Bix and Polly up to? What were they up to over the last 2 months?
We would have quietly what are there is there an orphanage in the town?
There absolutely is.
Okay. Then Bix would have very quietly and anonymously just given all of the surplus gold that he had, like whatever he didn't just need for equipment and supplies and whatnot, to that orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would go back to kind of his normal life of hunting and whatnot. He wouldn't be straying too far from the city.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's back out in the mountains doing what Bixes do.
That's beautiful. Bix, we're actually gonna pick up our live session here with you returning from north of Varnhold, along the road that connects Varnhold up to the Northern Kingdom. And as you are making your way towards the city, you're about a mile off. You can see some smoke rising from the city. You can see the tall stone walls. It's been a pretty quiet and relaxing day as you're making your way back towards the city. And as you are getting ready to just cross over this bridge that goes over the river, I'd like you to make a perception check for us, please.
Skills true. There it is.
23. You hear what sounds like the tearing of fabric. So perhaps one of those banners, the banners of Solaria, if it was to be shredded, or someone's coat being torn open by some aggressive force. And as you look around, you look to the center of the bridge where you see the air begins to kind of waver and shimmer. And as Bix looks through this kind of what looks like almost like a door that is opening, the door itself kind of appears before you, looks like a standard door frame. Behind it, you see what looks to be a library of some kind, a massive library, bookshelves hundreds of feet tall, multiple levels. And as the doorframe appears before you, you get this blast of kind of hot air. The doorframe then pivots up, shakes a few times, and out plops a young man with a raccoon on his shoulder. And Brian, I'd like you to describe your character from a little bit of a different game. And who does Bix see before him?
So this is Alvin Dimitrov. He's a pretty bookish, but like toned, I guess is the word I want. Like he looks not athletic, but
He's
pretty
fit.
healthy, I guess. Yeah, long hair pulled up into a high bun so it doesn't get in his eyes. He's clearly like shaving himself, so that's why he's only got the bottom part. He's and Rascal, who is his raccoon friend, only has 3 paws, and his 4th one is a metal prosthetic that is clearly magically powered.
You hit the ground. It is a stone bridge with an oof. You, Alwyn, remember what you had just experienced a few moments prior. And Rascal, kind of brushing himself off, sitting on your back as you were laying face down, looks over at Bix, looks over at Polly, and says, "If the weasel talks, we're going to have a problem."
He doesn't talk,
It's my shtick.
but he understands you.
Well, I'm the only talking animal in this parts, so
Well,
you stand your ground.
I do know a horse.
I'll kill him.
Rascal.
Where is he?
He'd
Okay.
probably eat you, little guy.
I can take him. I can take him.
Rascal.
Yes, what?
We don't need to take on a talking horse.
It's my gig. I talk. I'm a talking animal.
Yeah.
I talk.
You're the best talking animal I know.
You don't talk. I talk.
Yeah.
I am
he
the
talks.
wizard now.
I mean, it's cool. Hi. Bix is Bix is a purple-haired gnome with like a mohawk, riding a giant weasel. And he's got his bow drawn, not like drawn, but it's like out, and he's like, "Oh shit. Who are you?"
I'm gonna bet this is gonna be an awkward question, but you wouldn't happen to have seen a dwarf in heavy armor recently, would you? Very pretty, carrying a big hammer, also very pretty.
Oh, thanks. No, no dwarves lately.
All right, well, let's assume that everybody else jumped in behind me. Big winged guy, also very pretty. Man, everyone I work with is very pretty.
Just you and the raccoon since like I left Varnhold this morning.
Wait, I'm sorry, Varnhold? Where's Varnhold?
Turn around.
Okay, so that's far. Okay, this is gonna sound like a weird question, but what year is it?
I tell him the year.
It is the 18th of Cuthona, 4720.
Holy shit, and you didn't see anybody else get here?
No, I heard a
Oh.
ripping sound, and then a door appeared, and it was a door to a really weird big library.
Yeah, to the Arcanum. I know I was there for that.
and then
Do I have my sword on me?
You absolutely do.
Okay, I still got the sword. I'm sorry, you were saying a door and then the library and then
The door kind of picked itself up and just like shook you out. It was pretty weird. I'd never seen nothing like that before.
yeah, the Arcanum's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, this shit keeps happening to me lately, and I'm really super not into it.
It
Okay,
really does,
so-
doesn't it, Bix? All the weird shit keeps happening to Bix. Bix is like, I just want to hunt, and I just want to like do my furs and fucking talking horses and just bullshit. There it is. That's true. I like it.
I all right, so I have again, this is gonna be like a awkward question. And like the, I'm just gonna ask it, and then we can deal with maybe we'll deal with the repercussions afterwards. Who is in charge of Varnhold?
Well, as of now, or I guess it was 2 months ago, right? Yeah. As of 2 months ago, it has reverted to the control of the rightful ruler of Solaria.
King Frederick is back?
Oh, well, no, I think he's dead. I meant the queen.
I'm sorry, Aunt Cassie is in Varnhold?
Wait, Aunt Kathy?
I think that's
yeah,
Cassie.
I think that's a hilarious moment. I want to pivot over to Aunt Kathy, and her new base of operations, the mayor's former estate, where she has gathered both Eckerd and Mikhael, her two, really the original members of her council, as it were. And you were sitting around the table, the same table that the mayor, the former mayor of Varnhold, had been arrested at, bound, gagged, shackled, as it were. And she has the map of Solaria that she had on the table in the mint. She has multiple forms, scrolls, parchment with different supply routes, supplies, arms, armament, and we kind of pick up midway through this conversation where you've been discussing. I mean, Eckerd, you've kind of taken I believe you've taken the reins on the supply chain as far as goods going into and out of Varnhold. Is that a safe assessment?
That'd be fair.
Excellent. So we pick up with her mentioning, my greatest concern, of course, is simply the citizens. I want to make sure they have food, they have water, which obviously we have the river, but that they are protected. But at some point, we need to rally our forces and move back into the heart of Solaria and retake what has been stolen from us. Eckerd, have you heard back from any of the other churches, religious organizations, any word on them being able to assist us?
Would I have? Did we get responses? Or...
So I'm going to let you take a little creative license. You tell me.
Fair enough. Most of the Abadarian churches are reticent to engage in a civil war, but many of them are more than happy to send aid to protect the mint and aid a city that is effectively under siege, cut off from its own nation in terms of humanitarian support. I don't know how many fighters we'll get, but we should certainly get financial support, and the mint will be kept safe.
Does that protection extend from the mint to the city itself? You had mentioned perhaps that they would aid the city?
Eckerd would shrug and say, probably fighting fires, and if an army marched to the walls, they would probably defend it with looting and pillaging started, but not fighting as soldiers.
Do we have any idea of how many clerics, priests they will be sending?
I think that'll be down to the individual churches. We haven't gotten firm commitments from anyone, but I expect at least a dozen.
Very well. A dozen is better than zero, as it were. Mikhael, what have you to report?
Well, the situation in this in the city is going rather well. After all these 2 months, people have started adjusting, and there is, from what I can tell, absolutely no talk of Godfrey being supported within these walls. So I think the situation in the city is rather stable. Of course, there is the matter of the centers who are still not allied to us, from what I understand. but doing their own thing?
Yes, that is a concern. At this point, Dawkin, what can you tell us? Well, Your Majesty, we've sent several scouts out to attempt to parley with the centaurs, seeking some sort of alliance with them, seeing as your late husband was, well, kind enough to give them land. We figured maybe they would be kind enough to offer us their aid. They are quite capable fighters when rallied together, but as of yet, they have become even more insular than they once were. I'm afraid to report I do not believe they will be assisting us in this conflict.
What exactly was the agreement or relationship they had with your husband, my queen, if you are aware? Perhaps we could work something out?
My husband helped their chieftain rescue her daughter, and my husband did many things without consulting me, and I don't say that hatefully. He was just a man of bold action. This was one of those things where he did not ask my opinion on it, and the specifics of it are, well, something I'm not quite sure of. Give me a sense motive check on that.
Sure. I love sensing motive.
So you're getting the impression that the queen is not that she's outright lying about that, but that there is some, there were some rumors about her relationship with the king at the end. She had actually left the city really pretty not too long before the attack happened. It was like a month or two prior, and she was staying in Varnhold during that time, at the chateau, as it were. And rumors have it that their relationship was there was nothing officially public, nothing official, but the rumors have it that their relationship was strained at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have the topaz on you, Mikhael?
Sure. Yeah.
Really? As you are listening to the queen, you feel a kind of static shock. What pocket do you carry the topaz in?
It's in one of my hidden pockets.
And what part of your person is that hidden pocket? Chest, stomach?
Let's say chest.
Butt pocket, right above the heart. I like it. Right on the heart.
Yeah.
You get a static shock, and you hear a single word. You hear a phrase uttered, and it sounds like an angry, fiery woman. And she says, "That fucking liar."
Yeah, it gathered as much. Don't worry, Muriel. All right. Yeah, I just nod along. I'm not gonna like outright question her or point a finger like, "Why are you hiding?"
That'd be hilarious if you did.
Yeah, it would be hilarious.
Brilliant. She looks across the table once again, taking in what Mikhael had said towards Eckerd, and she says, "I was never one for military tactics, and while I can rely on Dawkin for skirmishes inside the city, I need someone who. Eckerd, I'm asking you if you would be willing to lead my armies, should we be able to rally them."
I've been trained as an officer, but I'm not sure how apt I will be for large-scale command. He's all right about it. He's actually a bit more confident than that, in my opinion. Never mind. I think I can handle that.
Damn. That's pretty good, actually. Excellent. Well, then, as of this day, you are promoted to acting general of the Solarian armies. What few troops you have. Dawkin, you will still be my second in command as far as things that go on here, but I would ask that Eckerd, well, be given the same respect that you've given me. when it comes to affairs of, well, large-scale military conflicts. She looks over to Mikhael. You have, well, you have many connections, do you not, business person?
Yes, with all the cities across Solaria and beyond.
Would it be possible for you to get a message to, well, that is to say, to get a message to some of the other cities through whatever underground networks you have access to? I'm not saying that you do, and she kind of lets out a little chuckle, but she mentions it. I want to find out how much support remains inside each of the cities, just a gauge of the temperature. What can we expect if we are to march upon Linsington, or Svetlania, on Tatzelford, or Fort Delrev, Patax, which I assume Patax has thrown itself in with Godfrey, a bunch of highfalutin sons of... Excuse me. But is that something you think you could handle?
Yes, quite possibly. Of course, we live in tumultuous times, and messages get lost in such territory. But I will do my best.
Very good. Now is the time, of course, to open the floor. Do any of you have any concerns? Anything that you need to bring to my attention?
I think that
If
will be all for now.
If we're considering marching on other cities, we should begin infiltrating them now. It's all well and good to siege a wall, but if you can take a gatehouse from the inside, it would be much better to do it that way.
Brilliantly stated.
That, and given that everyone here is from the same... everyone here grew up in Solaria, Solarians know each other. It wouldn't be very hard for even a common soldier to get by, working as a guard. Especially in a tumultuous time such as this.
Well stated.
Moving from one city to another wouldn't be uncommon.
Put together a plan, find the people you trust to do this, even if it is yourselves, and let me know which city you think we should march upon first. Or at least, which city we should infiltrate first. I defer to you, General.
Thank you.
Well, if there's nothing else, you are dismissed, I suppose. And she kind of trips over her words for a second. But with that, I'd like to pivot back out to the outer city, where we have this conversation going on between I believe he was described as being fit but looking bookish young man,
Yeah.
Bix and his weasel, and a rather rude raccoon, as it were. So take it away, gentlemen.
So Aunt Callie is in the city?
Wait, she's your aunt?
Kind of. All our parents were all sort of like a group, so we just called all our
Wait, what did you say your name was?
Alvin Dimitrov.
The harvester's son?
Yeah.
But you were all dead.
I would say that rumors of our demise have been greatly exaggerated, probably for the purpose of taking over a country. I'm just gonna guess.
But is you? Do you know where any of the other children of the council are?
I did as of about 10 minutes ago. If I had to guess, I'd say probably. Where is? How well do you know us?
I mean, I've heard of some of you. There was the one that lost his arm. He was the prince that lost his arm.
Yeah, he's got wings now. The whole arm thing is kind of a forgotten side note. Where's Tamira?
Tamira. Do I know anything about Tamira? Wolf.
I think there's been rumors.
There's been
Does
some
Bix,
rumors.
does Bix hear rumors out in the woods?
There's been some rumors.
What would those rumors have said?
Well, Tamira is currently in Svetlania, and she's also known as the head taker. because she likes to find dissonants that speak ill of Godfrey and use a giant-ass greatsword to chop their heads off. It's a pretty grim place.
Oh, you mean the head taker?
Ugh, that's a terrible nickname. Probably. That-
Yeah, she's a bitch.
All right, and and where is she?
Svetlania.
Because the last thing I heard before Amalia disappeared into the void was her voice saying that she needed to stabilize the spell. Before I could do anything about it, Amalia disappeared into it.
Wait, the Dorwat's daughter, Amalia?
Oh yeah, yeah. Listen. This will go faster if you get over the fact that we were all together. Just move with me here. So the odds are good that she's at Svetlania. Although if I didn't end up in Svetlania, listen, I'm going to need to talk to the queen, I guess. Is she going by the queen? Is that seriously? That's a thing that she did?
Yeah, she calls herself the queen.
Man,
Queen
that
of-
woman
Queen
does
of
not
Solaria.
have any shame.
She lacks chill as well, but she's she's better than Godfrey.
Yeah, but you're better than Godfrey. This bridge is better than Godfrey. Sorry, the first one was insulting, and I apologize. I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm still gonna need to talk to her. Wait, so okay, Svetlana, I'm betting is a Godfrey place, and Varnhold isn't.
Well, we kind of took it back. I mean, it was
Oh,
never
man, good on you.
It was yeah, thanks. I'm actually a member of her council.
Ooh.
Wow. Well, then my apologies, my lord. I should have made that
Oh, sweet God, no.
evident from the beginning. I could have
God's
taught-
no.
paid you
No.
the proper obeisance.
No,
All right, cool.
never
That's
again.
That's
Please,
about how
dear-
the rest of the council usually felt. So I'm
God's
pleased to see
never
that
again.
tradition
Look,
continues.
man, I'm just a hunter. I got caught up in a bunch of weird shit going on, and Polly and I, we just did what we could, and apparently it helped a lot. So yeah, now we have the queen, and we killed an acolyte.
I'm sorry, you killed one. Which one?
I described the one that we killed.
Gold mask, golden robes. Jesus, wow. By Nephis, that is impressive. How did you? Listen, okay, this is gonna I'm probably gonna come across as being a little bit of a dick. You don't look like you've got the kind of power necessary to take out an apostle like that.
Well,
accurate.
I mean,
we
giant
had
weasel
some-
notwithstanding.
Ollie crosses its arms and looks a little offended. Rascal takes a grape from his grape bag and starts eating grapes.
Well, I mean, we had some help. There were.
I
there were
mean, I
shad-
assume it wasn't just you. All right, you know
Well,
what?
here, why don't-
I don't want to take away from your accomplishment. Let's go to Varnhold.
Yeah, come follow me. We'll I mean, I'd still keep a low profile if anybody knows what you look like. I don't know if anybody knows what you look like, but we should keep a low profile anyways, just to make sure nobody spots you, because you're probably really wanted by the other side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Does your weasel have any problem with heights?
Polly? He can understand human speech now. He's
Oh,
Ollie shrugs.
in which case, you guys want to fly there?
that sounds like something that neither of us have ever done.
All right, awesome. Let me real quick cast flight on all of us. Unless you can describe where the queen is well enough that I can just teleport us there.
Oh, she's usually she's staying at the mayor's old residence, right?
Yeah,
This
that's
is
correct.
funny.
She's at the mayor's residence, and he describes it fairly well.
Roll me a D100, then, if you want to try teleporting. God, I hope you roll 100. You rolled really well. I'm pretty sure that doesn't fail. I'm disappointed. So as the meeting is wrapping up inside of the Queen's new estate, there is a flash of magic, and appearing in the room are Polly the weasel and several of his friends, namely Bix and a young man and a Skadoosh, Bix, and Polly. And there is a kind of a thwomp. They all appear. You're all starting to stand up. Dawkins goes for a weapon. The Queen takes a step back. Eckerd, I don't know what you do.
Probably
Finish my
knocks
glass of
over his chair
wine.
as he stands up.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of this? Looking
no,
mainly at Bix.
Oh,
yeah, Alan is like, wow, this was a good description. Like, good work, buddy.
thanks. Could I introduce you all to son of the harvester, Alvin Dimitrov?
I mean, Duck and you and I should not need any introductions, right, buddy?
Dawkins looks real suspicious at Alwyn.
Yep, that's fair. That's about the expression I usually got. Aunt Callie, can you vouch for me?
Aunt
Also,
Callie,
we need to have a conversation about how you treated your daughter.
Aunt Callie looks real suspicious as well. And she looks to Eckerd. Can you confirm that this isn't some sort of trick or magic or illusion spell of some kind? Dawkins
If
is
he doesn't have another means of illusion on him.
Dawkins is slowly raising his rifle.
Surely this is so straightforward and over the top that no apostle would dare to go with such a simple deception, right?
Yeah,
Eckerd's
I
gonna
mean, you
slowly
just have to
cast
talk to
detect-
him for. Go ahead.
He's gonna slowly cast detect magic.
I'm very magical.
Yeah, you just have to talk to him for like 30 seconds, and you can tell that he's not faking anything.
Would you mind, sir?
No. What do you want? What can I tell you?
Tell me about yourself. Would you not?
What would you like to know? I'm Alvin
Eckerd, you are
Dimitrov. I went
picking
back in
up
time 30 years.
multiple magical auras, ranging from the mundane to the fantastically powerful artifact level, namely the sword on his hip, and I don't even know where to begin describing it. There's just a lot.
He's just mainly looking for a transmutation and illusion.
I don't believe you have any illusion or transmutation on yourself. None.
I don't think so. No.
And Eckerd just shrugged. Lots of magic, none of it the kind to hide himself.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let him talk for like 30 seconds and then
So I hear that we are rumored to be dead, but that's not quite true. Actually, Nethys used the last of his energy. He and Ardia sort of combined energies, teleported all of us into various places in the past. I think you'll probably find in your record that if there's records at least of the North, that there's a coup that happened about 30 years ago.
Knowledge history,
or almost,
anyone that has it.
Almost happened and then didn't. And Ophir 8 fingers is still, hopefully, fingers crossed. Fingers because he's 8 fingers. And anyway, not important.
sense mode because I don't have history.
Nethys used the last of his energies. Is he dead?
Yeah. Godfrey stabbed him with a black knife, which is actually one of the artifacts of Eridan. It goes along with this sword. There's a ring, 2 rings, necklace, some armor.
There's open god killing going on, and the gods aren't jumping him.
Well, see, it turns out that this is like a whole like Eridan thing. So all of us aspects of Eridan sort of have to like come together and like defeat him. And it's kind of like they're making a decision, because if Godfrey wins, and I think maybe Rovagug gets released. It's very unclear what the whole motivation here is.
And Diomede is just fine with that, not going at it with the sword.
Oh, well, no. I mean, it's unclear because maybe there's a time loop going on, and every time that we fail, the time loop starts up again. But
I
the only
think,
person who mentioned that was
is-
that someone who was being under control of a dark spirit. So I don't find any credence to that particular theory. Actually, what I think is that all the things that have happened are supposed to happen, and that we are actually going to, replace the god Eridan. So technically, it's not a loss. Nephis is just going to reach the end of his sort of
See,
thing.
I told you he's too
yes.
weird to be a ruse.
You are right. The story is too unconvincing to be a lie.
Listen,
and-
if I wasn't Alwyn,
No, we're
can I
saying
do
we
this?
believe you.
Or this, or this.
I have seen magic before, yes, but no, we believe you. I think.
No, we believe you. This story is
sure,
way too
yes.
dumb to be fake.
Yes, I agree.
I'm not sure how to take that.
Welcome back.
About how you should.
Thanks. There's also a very strong possibility that a bunch of us just got back, but not all in the same place. I'm a little scared that maybe they're in Svetlania. I genuinely do need to know which of the cities are under the control of Dickless and which of them
Yes.
are. Wait,
yes,
are
so
you
do we.
seriously calling yourself queen and like trying to stage a comeback? Come on, Aunt Callie.
We all look
Come
over
on.
to the queen. Like,
The queen's expression is a mixture of revulsion, of disbelief, of maybe even a little bit of hope.
Now I am confused. Why would our queen not call herself by her title?
That if she hasn't said anything, maybe I shouldn't.
Oh, I think you should.
But Dawkin, you and I know that this is not where you should be.
Dawkin looks.
Do you think you'd cut off a piece of Uncle Freddy's cake since he wasn't here to eat it, buddy?
Did you just imply that I was. You. How dare you? Says
I'm sorry, Dawkin. Did you find that implication offensive?
I'm sure there is no need for this sort of language. Why don't you explain what exactly happened, my lord, and we will sort
you're
this
right,
whole
Vic. That is not
situation out.
Do not my lord me.
What is your preferred title then?
You can just call me Alwyn.
Very well. Could you explain this situation to us, perhaps?
Well, again, if Aunt Callie didn't tell you, sometimes I wander into these situations faster than my brain can catch up. So maybe we'll just say that she and my uncle didn't part on the best of terms.
Is my son still alive?
Aunt Callie, I don't know which son you could be talking about.
You know precisely which son I am talking about.
Older and wiser, but yes, Tanil is still alive. At least last I saw him.
And what of the others?
Are there like specific ones you'd like me to tell you about, maybe?
Sarah
just
and
all of them?
Oroth, are they alive?
Absolutely. Both
Lovely.
doing better than Tanil, I'll mention. But, not just gonna float that out there.
Well, if you're not willing to talk about the past, then perhaps the future. Now that you are all back, apparently, what is your plan?
Oh, Alwyn, do me a favor and give me a will save.
Uh-oh. Sure, yeah. Wow.
That is the best will save you could have made. There is a loud crack and a similar doorway that Bix saw before opens up, and you hear a angry but younger female's voice screaming, "I've got it right this time, and I've got one of them." And you watch as several tendrils of some kind
Shit.
reach out, grab onto Alwyn. The rascal on his shoulder says, "Oh shit!" And the two of them are sucked through an open doorway and disappear with a whoop, and they are gone.
Well, that went about as well as expected.
What the fuck just happened?
Magic crap. I do not know. Anyone recognize that voice, perhaps?
He said it was who did he say it was?
Tamira,
Tamara,
the head taker.
the head taker.
Oh, lovely. I guess he did go to Svetlana after all. Then is that what that was?
Apparently. Does this mean we have to go to Svetlana instead of Tasselford?
Well, this is not very helpful. I was hoping that with our new friend, it would be easier to find information about all the places. But
Yeah, interdimensional kidnapping is it's not cool.
Without a word, the queen marches up the stairs and disappears from the room. Dawkin is quick on her tail, stops at the base of the stairs, looking back at everyone with an expression of, also, what the fuck just happened, and what are we supposed to do now?
I say, we simply ignore whatever just happened. Let us keep it at the back of our minds and continue with our plan as if they don't exist.
There's a electric shock from a certain topaz in your coat pocket, Mikhael, and a
So glad I
Question.
didn't put this up my butt.
and or it could be a good time. I don't know.
Didn't put it in your prison pocket.
You got to put it in your butt, Blau. There it is. The butt pocket. And it's a Tarkov joke. I love it. You get another. Oh, your camera died. That's okay.
Yeah,
But it's an adorable cat. But you get that voice again that says, "Why did they give me to the idiot?"
That's hilarious. Well, one of us is stuck in a topaz, and it's not me. So who's the idiot now?
There it is. There it is.
I'm not convinced anything he said wasn't a lie.
I mean, why in the world would anybody make that up and not only make it up but present it like that? I mean,
I think the face of the world would be more aware if gods were dying.
I met up with him on the bridge like 20 minutes ago, and I don't think he ever stopped talking.
Right. So, I mean, he did seem like the type to talk without thinking.
And I mean, the queen wasn't happy with him, but she sure kind of knew who he was.
I'm not talking about him being him. I'm talking about gods dying. Who cares about what's happening in this country? I care about the fact that gods are dying and they're not uniting like they did to fight Rovagug.
Oh yeah,
We do not.
I hadn't even started processing that one.
We do not know what the gods are up to, and I'm sure that he does not accurately know it either. It is not our job to look into their domain or do anything about it. We simply must worry about ourselves. Is that not right?
Didn't he say he was an aspect of Aroden? Isn't that what he said?
Yes, I do recall something of the sort.
There's plenty of, at least in the past, from what I understand, there's plenty of Aroden. What would you call dementia? distortion. Plenty of priests clung to their old traditions, and now clean temples spellless.
I don't know, guys. Do you need me to find something in the woods? This is what I'm good at. This is you city guys kind of
think this is-
stuff.
I don't think God's fighting is any of our thing. I think it's about out of our pay grade.
Yes, I agree. Like I said, I think we should focus on our previous plans to improve the situation in our kingdom.
Fair enough.
Dawkin takes a couple steps towards. And, General.
Gen-
Sorry,
wait,
to
General?
laugh. Yes,
I got a promotion.
Eckerd was promoted here.
Oh, congratulations.
What do you suggest our next move is?
Right now, we need to form a cadre to build up an army. We don't have one. We're either going to need professional soldiers or mercenaries to train soldiers. From there, we need to work with the Abadarian Church to figure out who we're conscripting. If we're conscripting anyone and not taking volunteers. If we're taking volunteers, we need to hope we get enough to then not have to go back on our promise not to conscript and conscript people.
Scripting people is a quick and powerful way to turn a city as fickle as Varnhold against us.
We only have one population base to draw from. We don't have money for a mercenary army.
I mean, do we need an army?
If the queen wants to march in other cities like she said she did, yes. At least a couple hundred men. We use them smart. We might be able to take other cities by guile. After all, Varnhold only had the 100 guards on hand, and I imagine if we find a city that's at least somewhat friendly to the queen, we could turn maybe half the domestic guard force against the city after it goes bad for the apostles. And I can't imagine there's more than a couple hundred apostles in any given city.
That sounds like a smart plan. Of course, it requires that we find one such city first.
It does. We need to marshal some intelligence resources as well. But either way, I mean, a half dozen mercenaries can train a few hundred men. Or if we can scrounge up, a half dozen professional soldiers otherwise that are loyal to the queen.
Where's Ven? Guys.
Eckerd shrugs. You want to go find him? He might as well be told that we had a magic man running around. That's his.
He has been sort of gone into hiding the last month or so. I have not heard any rumors about him causing trouble.
Yeah,
And,
he's just been mostly working on the play.
Didn't peg him as a dramatist.
I'm sure we
Well-
can find him if we try.
All right, well, if you guys want to keep doing whatever you're doing, I'll go try and find him. We'll go try and find him.
And as Bix exits the room, leaving Mikhael and Eckerd, do you guys have anything else to discuss, or do you part ways to go in, work on your perspective goals?
Eckerd would look to Mikhael and say, can you get a couple of people into the nearby cities across the mountains?
I think I can figure something out, yes.
We need to gauge public support, get numbers on the opposition forces and fortifications. We can't manage a siege. There's not going to be a fair fight, so the city fortifications proper won't matter. At least not the outer walls. So
Very
whatever
well.
looks the most prime for the plucking as far as infiltration goes and local support. I'll go try to put together an army.
And as the two of you depart the Queen's hold, as it were, we pivot over to Hermando's Scrolls and Potions, where I believe Ven has been hanging out and kind of lying low, as it were. And you mentioned you have hired a young woman as an assistant. What is this young woman's name?
Is an excellent question.
You know what her name is? Because I think it's hilarious. Her name is Ekaterina Durrani.
Awesome. Yes, that's perfect.
Yep,
Oh my.
that is who she is. And she's a recent arrival here in Varnhold. Had been staying, not too recent. She's been here a couple months, but she'd been staying in Tasselford, and she doesn't talk much about her time there. She headed east to get away from the fighting, as it were, at the, she says, the request of her father. And what do you have her doing, Benoir? What do you have her doing at this time?
I mean, mostly she was poking around the scrolls and potions, and Ven started chatting her up, and then realized that she was effectively homeless, so he has offered her a job. She mostly goes and gets coffee for both him and Hermando.
Wow.
But like,
literally just like a personal assistant.
She was genuinely interested in learning magic, and so Hermando, who is a wizard, and Ven,
Hermando.
Ven, who is a sorcerer, are both like doing the worst job ever of teaching her how to do magic.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing that she was interested in, as I recall.
Yeah.
Amanda's like, oh, you gotta study from the books, and you're like, no, just do
No,
the
Just
thing.
feel it.
Do the
Just
thing.
snap of your
Yeah.
fingers. And then Eckert's over there like, just pray about it. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just pray about it. It's beautiful. So we cut to a scene in the potions and scrolls, and she is attempting to cast a very basic spell of detect magic. And she's like, all right, so I just focus, and then like I say the words, and it just like it happens, and Amanda's like, no, my dear, you must feel the magic, but less feeling, more reading the spell, as it were, and then it just sort of happens.
No. Hermando,
Don't listen
what she
to
needs
him.
to do is like reach deep down into her very core and find that well of magic where you just, it's like bubbling over, and then you just siphon that into your will, which you are using.
Incorrect. You say the verbal, and then you do the semantic components, and then it happens. It's a thing. It's all about study and preparation.
No, the verbal and somatic components are absolutely, like, they're meaningless. They're just there as a focus for you to be able to marshal your will in a way that is, because like I do a different gesture than you do, because when I do it, it's just really the gesture that I think of as the detect magic
Yeah,
gesture.
you just wiggle your hands like a crazy person, not like some sort of refined wizard such as myself. But all right, young lady, Dimitri. Yes, okay, yes. So, and a 1, 2, and cast the spell. And she says the arcane, draconic words for detect magic. She wiggles her fingers a little bit too similarly to how Ven does it, and the spell does not work. And she looks very disappointed. And Hermando looks disappointed. And as Hermando looks disappointed, Bix, you walk in through the front door.
All right, Katarina, are you feeling it? Like, do you have that like molten core?
I'm gonna go get some coffee
like,
for
magic?
everybody, and if anyone needs anything else, you can get it yourself. And she will march into the back room, looking very, very
Okay,
frustrated.
remember that I like Brevoyan cream.
Brevoyan cream.
You have a real way with people, Ven. You know that?
Thank you.
Brevoyan cream. Sometimes you guys say the darndest things, and it just fucking breaks me down. Like, hilarious. I love it. All right, continue.
So yeah, you really have a way with people.
Thank you.
So we just had a visitor. Alvin Dimitrov, the son of the bloody harvester.
Holy shit! Every apostle in the Apostle Leagues knows that guy's name and what he looks like and what his favorite 3 colors are and his favorite food.
What's his favorite food?
It's this weird dish where they take potatoes and cut them up and then like fry them in oil. It's gross.
That sounds disgusting.
Right? That's what I said. Why would you want your potatoes to get all
Are
oily?
you talking about
I don't understand.
Kovosin fries?
I guess. I
Those
don't
are
know.
delicious.
We were just
A delicacy
ugh,
in some
they
some
sound
parts.
terrible.
A little
Yeah,
bit
they
of
don't
crushed
sound
tomatoes
good.
on them. A little bit of sea salt. It's delicious.
Yeah, no thanks.
Maybe
Yeah,
some
I'm
pepper
out.
if you're feeling incredibly frisky.
I mean, maybe if you put some sort of malt vinegar or I don't know.
Oh gods, why would you ruin your Kovosin fries with malt
or
vinegar?
maybe cheese and
That
brown
is
gravy.
horrific.
That might work.
Of course you live out in the woods. You're barbaric. Disgusting.
Maybe pair it
Malt
with
vinegar.
fish.
All right, Hermando. Be
I mean,
nice
if you're
to the
feeling
dick.
quite adventurous, you can put some bacon and cheese on top, but malt vinegar?
Mm.
Repugnant.
I mean, if you give me just the bacon and the cheese and take the fried potatoes out entirely,
Then
that
you're ruining the entire meal.
ugh.
You need your
Alright,
starch
whatever.
as well
Anyways.
as your protein and your... And then he goes on about meals for a little bit. Continue.
So
anyways.
Alwyn, he's about yay high, like weird squiggly little beard. Kind of won't stop talking.
He never stopped talking the entire time I knew him.
Sounds like Alwyn.
The entire, 10 minutes you knew the guy.
Sounds like the
That's
Dimitrov
funny.
kid.
Yeah. But he's kind of cool anyways. I don't know. He seems like an interesting kid.
Yeah, Godfrey's like has a super hard on for that kid. I don't know why.
Gross.
Gross.
I mean, I didn't think he could even get those.
Gross.
Oh, sorry, that's the old apostle speak.
So yeah, he showed up and we brought him to the queen and wow, those two don't get along.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah.
Aren't they
I
like
don't know.
related or something?
He called her auntie, but they don't really seem to like each other very much.
I thought that whole council was like a big like family.
I did too.
thing.
Apparently there was some kind of thing between the king and the queen before the king left. I don't whatever. Royals. This is not our problem.
Right? Okay.
Anyways, so then yeah, he was in the Arcanum and he got shot onto a bridge, like kind of shook out of a doorway onto the bridge, and then I took him to meet the queen, and then they argued for a while, and then Jesus, why am I so bad with names? The Tamira took him back to the Arcanum, and we think maybe to Svetlania.
Okay.
Back to the Arcanum.
And you are telling me because
now we're putting together an army to maybe go try and take more cities back. I don't know. We were planning stuff and I figured we needed to come and get you.
I thought we were going to do this the subtle way. I thought the last I heard was the idea was to send a caravan into.
The queen kind of made Eckerd a general, right before I
wow.
showed up, and then they were talking about armies. I don't know. I figured I should come get you, and the two of us could heckle them from the back. I don't know. I
That
don't
does
know why
sound
they
fun.
put me on that council.
I mean, I'm on board. I'm happy to tag along with you guys. I don't want to work for the queen, but I guess better the queen than Godfrey.
That's kind of, I mean, yay Solaria, all that stuff, but
Yeah,
she
Solaria.
she seems super moody. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna back you on that one for sure.
Yeah.
1
Anyways,
minute it's have 1,000 gold. The next minute it's go to jail. Then the next minute it's have 4,000 more gold.
I mean, you're not super stable either. We'll just. Anyways,
I am super stable. My motivations are clear and upfront, unless I need to hide them, in which case sometimes I hide them, but not from you, Bix. We're friends now.
glad. Yes, we are friends, and as my friend, you should come and be at the planning meetings with me because I don't like them, and I want someone else to be unhappy too.
This is one of those
I
misery
guess.
boat
I want
company
someone
things.
else
Yeah.
to be happy. Unhappy too.
All right,
That's-
Hermando. All right, I guess you're finally getting me out of your attic.
Fantastic. And take this person over here with the vinegar. Just take your vinegar friend away with you. Shoo. Disgusting.
I actually
Vinegar
thought that
friend.
sounded pretty good. It would
Your
cut through the
vinegar
oil
friend.
taste.
The oil taste is what
Bix-
makes it so savory. You're talking about putting vinegar into the oil. It's just, the vinegar and oil don't mix.
Bix hops up on Polly's back, spits on the floor, looks at Hermando, and then rides off out the door.
Vile.
All right, and tell Katarina, I guess she can find me at the mayor's manor. Yeah.
Katarina! Clean up on aisle... whatever the hell that thing was. I think it was a gnome.
Armando,
Disgusting.
she's not your maid. Why do I keep having to tell you this? I'm
Katarina!
here.
And
She's
then just-
my assistant.
He's gone. He's gone.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not listening anymore. And I like how he's become more kind of crotchety as I've done his voice. I don't know. I love him. But we then cut over to the town guard barracks, where Eckerd, you'd mentioned you were going to make your way over to someone that would likely have some sort of military training or maybe have connections. And
Yes.
you would actually see Tessa Varn out in front of the barracks. It's kind of like late morning, and she's talking with half a dozen guards, just simply letting them know, all right, your patrol routes are going to be here, here, and here. Make sure to maintain a presence. I encourage you all to move in pairs. We're not here to oppress the people. We're here to uplift them and show them confidence. So put on those big smiles. Guards are like, sure, sure, sure. As long as the gold keeps flowing, we'll keep walking. And there's a little bit of chuckling, and then they depart. She looks over, and you've had some interactions with her over the coming last couple of months. She was very quickly reinstated, seeing as she, I don't want to say threw the mayor under the bus, but quickly realized that he was not the person to follow and gave herself up and was completely cooperative. So about
Threw him
2
completely
weeks,
under the bus.
he threw him under the bus. But after
Oh,
about
yeah.
2 weeks, she swore a full allegiance to the queen and to the true, rulers of Solaria, and was placed back in her position of power and has been helpful, if nothing else, helping with trade caravans, getting guards. She's even had a couple of mercenaries come in to act as caravan guards. So she would likely be someone to talk to. And as you see her, she's not really a smiler, but she kind of looks less stern when she sees you, which is about all you're going to get, Eckerd.
Yeah, he'd give her a wave and say, Captain Varn, a word?
Eckerd Gerst. Always a pleasure to see you. What caravan needs protecting?
No caravan today. The queen has charged me with building an army.
An army.
Yes.
How?
She's a queen, not a commander. She didn't leave that up to... She didn't give specifics.
No, I mean specifically, where are we to raise this army? We have but the city here, and most of these folks are... Sorry. How can I help?
Well, I was hoping to get at least a half dozen veterans to act as a cadre before we start looking for recruits. And I was advised to stay away from conscription.
I would not recommend conscription. It is a quick way to turn a city against you, and our hold heel, while it's been strengthened, is still... Well, I don't think I need to explain that any further. She, just like her token, kind of brings her hand up to her chin, rubs it, thinking deeply. I have a couple of older guards, those that I don't necessarily send out into the field, sergeants, as it were, that help with training some new towns guards, things like that. They are not soldiers per se, but they are capable in their abilities. With a little extra guidance, they might be able to act as instructors of some kind. If not them, then perhaps... I'm sorry, go ahead.
At the very least, they can help with hand-to-hand training. While personal skill doesn't matter that much for a soldier, a basic level of proficiency is required. I'll need some other folks to help with the organization then.
She thinks. She thinks. She thinks. What if we sent a request to the Sword Lords?
I thought we might need to hire mercenaries, but if that's all you have, we're going to have to.
Well, there is the Sword Lord in Restov. She was the one that originally gave the deed, as it were, to the founding of Solaria. She funded pretty much the entire creation of the kingdom at its start. I don't believe there was an official alliance, but my history isn't, well, quite well.
I'm sure that she would be more than happy to help, given that the alternative to her southern border would be Godfrey. And if all it takes is maybe a dozen or two
How many
veteran soldiers,
veterans would you need? A dozen? Perhaps 2 dozen?
maybe a half dozen to train, and maybe another half dozen to act as officers. I can't imagine we're going to raise more than a few hundred men.
Did the Queen give you any amount that I can work with? Payments for these mercenaries?
Our discussion got cut short. I'll work out a budget. At the very least, the mint will cover the initial cadre. From there, we'll talk about how many we can afford to salary.
I can send a writer this evening north to Restov, and likely within the next couple of days we could hear back with her answer.
That would be perfect. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. And Eckert,
I don't.
thank you for what you said during the trial. I appreciate that you. Well, that
You didn't
spoke.
deserve what the mayor had coming for him.
Thank you.
I don't know what I'd do without you. Pats her on the shoulder and makes his way down the street.
And he doesn't see it, but she smiles as he walks away. Perfect. And as she goes back inside to go get her writer, we're actually going to follow Eckert back down to the mint, where out in the front you see Sarah, and she is actually with the other, I guess, acolyte, as it were, Jennifer.
Acolyte now, I suppose.
And she is now dressed in Abadarian fineries, robes, nothing too fancy, but nice, a little bit of gold fringe. And the two of them are right outside the front of the mint. They have a little makeshift table set up on a barrel, and they are currently playing chess together. They are currently playing chess, and you can see that Sarah is bone crushing, absolutely bone crushing Jennifer, and Jennifer looks extremely frustrated. And you see it is Sarah's move. She moves her rook and says rook to queen 7, checkmate. It looks like just as you walk up, Jennifer's about to table flip, and I'm going to leave the scene to you if you choose to interact or not.
Eckert would walk up and see the pile of pieces on Sarah's side of the table and say, "Well played, but remember, we're not here to destroy our fellows. We're here to build them up. You may have had 8 years of practice doing this in your primary schooling, but she has not."
I just, it's a good lesson to learn, right? Sometimes you lose. You've beaten me 8 times in a row and have still not really explained the full rules to me, Sarah. Well, I mean, you learn as you go along with things. Just like, I learned with doing stuff, you're a real bitch. And then the two of them start to argue with each other right there. And I'm curious what Eckert does.
Eckert shakes his head, pulls out a gold piece, sets it on the table, and says, "I think a lunch would have you two work this out."
Jennifer is much quicker to grab the gold piece and says,
The gold's in your hand. You decide where you're going with it.
Ha! And Sarah says, "No, I don't want Corvosan fries again. They're so greasy." Jennifer's like, "Corvosan fries!" The two of them scurry off down the road, as it were. They scurry off away towards the Corvosan, the town square where they have the Corvosan
Fry
fry
cart.
stall cart. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corvosan fries! Get your fresh Corvosan fries! Cheese and bacon! Malt vinegar if you like it!
These fucking Corvosan fries, they popped up in the last 2 months. Where'd they come from?
Just super popular. Just they've been
Yeah.
everywhere.
Sweeping the city.
Oh, beautiful. And I just wanted to give that little moment because we hadn't seen Sarah in a little bit, but you were able to head back into the mint and either meet with the high priestess or do what you want. But I'd like to pivot over to Mikhael. Mikhael, after the meeting, where did you head off to start to work on some things?
Okay. I'm going to make a quick stop at the Clumsy Bear.
Mm-hmm.
I want to propose to my fellow owner.
Partner! How are you today? No, that's not his voice. No, I can't remember his voice. It's been forever. I'll have to listen to some old stuff, but... Sigbert, here it is. I am Sigbert. Yes, Sigbert, something like this.
Yeah.
He's now Russian, because I've been playing too much Tarkov. Sigbert greets
Nice.
you. Partner, it's good to see you again.
Yes, it is. How has business been going? I know I've been kind of busy with council duties, but you know how it is, yes.
Dorf, it's been lucrative. There it is. There's his voice. It's been lucrative.
That
For a
is
sincere
pretty fair.
investment, I've been able to hire better workers, as well as import some finer wines from the northern lands up in Brevoy.
That is what I like to hear.
We're also serving coffee now with Brevoyan cream. Per the request of one of your friends, Venovar. It's been quite a hot seller.
Well, that is good to hear, I suppose. Listen, Sigbert, I have...
It's hot coffee. You get it? There's a hot seller.
Yes, no, I
digress.
Very good.
Right.
I have a sort of a business proposal that I think we should implement. It is for the better of the kingdom. Well, you see, I have insider information that our lovely queen and council will soon begin recruitment for a military that we shall use.
Big Bird's expression of joy and happiness turns very sour. And he is like cleaning the countertop, wiping it. He's got a big smile. He's a big, tall, huge, hulking elfin man. He's wiping down the table and he stops. Did you say an army?
Keep it down. It is only in the early stages. That is simply it is, but it will be starting soon, I believe. Yes.
Brings the rag up, wiping his hands. You can see he's got some scars from the past, old battle scars, things like that. And he says, "Volunteer or conscription?"
Yes, volunteer is what I hear. No conscription for this army, no. But I'm sure you will agree that for those that are capable, it is good to try to help with earning back our kingdom from the vile hands of Godfrey. Yes, you seem very thoughtful, and it is throwing me off a bit. What is on your mind, Sigurd?
What do you know of the lands to the north?
Well, do you mean your homeland or
He nods.
Brevoy?
He nods.
Oh, okay. Well, I hear that they're a bit cold and violent at times, and they have a rich history, and I do not know anything more specific.
So Sigbert wears on his right arm, he wears a It's usually under his shirt. You've seen it once or twice when maybe he's like, had short sleeves or something like that. But he has this ring that he wears around his arm. And you would recognize that as like an oath ring, something where he had sworn allegiance to some sort of king or a leader of some kind, a chieftain of some sort. And his hand almost instinctually goes up and kind of touches that. And I'd like you to roll a knowledge local on that armband. See if you recognize.
So glad it's not history.
I got you, boo. I got you, boo. I got you.
Oh, that's not very good.
You don't recognize it.
Yeah.
And he says, I may need to leave for a time.
Leave?
Yes. I may need to leave.
Leave the city?
He nods.
Oh, that is unexpected. What about this one?
I have to report back to my king.
You're Sigbert, I thought you were retired. Is this not your... I thought you were a full-time business owner, and what is this talk about your king now? What?
And he gets that big smile on his face again. And he starts wiping the countertop down. Oh, nothing you need to worry about. Anyway, I've got an idea for some new fries we could be sharing. There's this new thing on the street called Carson Fries. I was thinking we could partner up with the local fry dealer, and then he goes on a little bit of a tangent about fries for a little bit. And I do give you an opportunity to press him if you so choose, but he's obviously trying to ignore pivot you in this moment.
Yeah, I'm not gonna press him if he doesn't want to talk about it.
Totally up to you.
But yeah, I mean, as the conversation goes on, I'll let him talk about his fries. Originally, I wanted to ask him first of all whether he's seen whether we've had any visitors from other cities in Varnhold recently.
Roll me a D100 actually, because you can pivot the conversation back to that at some point. Yeah. Tell me high or low.
High.
Brilliant.
So
roll me a
close.
D8.
All right.
Roll me another 2D8.
2d8.
2
There's
and
13 apostles in
3.
town.
2 and 3. 2 and 3. Can you imagine, Eckerd, if there were 13 apostles in town? It'd be real bad.
Probably are.
So you have had visitors from 1, 2, 3. So interestingly enough, there is a man in town who has been somewhat reclusive, but who the locals say is actually someone that has escaped from Sunspire, which has been pretty much shut off. Like, you can't really get in or out of the city. And a woman who is apparently from Lensington, a halfling, who has been very quiet, also very reclusive, but is very interested in this play. She's been asking a lot about the play and who wrote it, and is looking to potentially invest in that play.
All right. I'll try to find out their locations where I can find them. And I'll probably have to introduce that halfling to Van. All right.
One half, yes. One half of a halfling.
Oh,
all
no,
right,
the
cool.
holding.
All right, great. And my other plan was to have introduce a discount at the Clumsy Bear for military people once the volunteering starts, to give them a bit of an incentive. But I won't talk to Sigbert about that now, because apparently he's going all thoughtful on me about this stuff for some reason. And I don't want to press him. Yeah. So yeah, I'll head over to Ven later.
Perfect.
Next.
And at this point, I'm gonna kind of open it up because there's some things that we have a couple of days we need to wait on. Is there any other scenes, any other interactions, things that you would like to plot, as it were, to foil my plans, to screw you over? What you guys like to do? We'll start with Ven. Ven, what would you be working on?
Well, since Ven's being drawn back into whatever's going on, he's gonna start hounding Dawkin to like give him some actual gunslinger training or musketeer training. Since he's got this gun and he can conjure ammunition
Boy.
for it, and now he's come up with some spells for it.
Love this gun.
Do you
It's
wanna
fun.
take a level in Gunslinger? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I already have that multi-classing thing. It's just I just want to
Flavor text it.
justify it. Yeah, I just want to justify it. Besides, I also think this is Ven's subtle way of trying to get close to the queen and glean some information, but he's going to get that through Dawkin.
Love that. Absolutely love that. You know what? Roll me a diplomacy check. 17. You can use that +5 from chat that was given earlier. You know
Nice.
what? You know what? That succeeds. And Dawkin agrees to train you. And actually, he's been training you over the last month or so. Very, very much only when he has free time. It's always in the courtyard of the Queen's Manor, as it were, that it's been so graciously referred to. And it's going well. He's actually somewhat impressed. And he's made several comments about usually folks don't take so easy to it. In fact, at one point we lost an entire squad of musketeers when we were eventually trying to investigate what had happened in Varnhold all those years ago. So he is impressed with your capabilities in this training. What about Eckerd? What would Eckerd be working on? Anything in particular you'd like to be working on?
Eckerd would be spending the last of his couple of days of freedom before the army actually gets rolling and does some Abadarian work. He roams the markets. He rides the roads looking for banditry and the such.
Mhm.
And he roams the markets making sure no one's getting cheated. No one's doing anything really shady and underhanded, that kind of thing.
I like that. As Eckerd is roaming the streets, give me a perception check, Eckerd.
Sure, I'm okay at those. I'm really bad at those.
Cool. You know what? Everything's going great.
Nice.
Everything is
I'm
perfect.
glad.
You know what? Your presence, any bandits that are around, terrified.
They're scared.
Shaken in their clogs, as it were. They're wooden
Yeah.
clogs. They're just shaking. You can hear it from a mile away because they're made of wood and they're clinking together. It's very good.
I walk through the markets. I have 3 castings of fairness. Don't need to use one.
It's amazing.
Don't even need to use one.
Absolutely bloody fantastic. I love that. And let's go over to Mikhael. What would Mikhael be working on during this time?
I want to find those 2 informants and talk to them and ask them about the cities.
Buddy. Ooh, buddy. Well, let's have you roll. Let's have you roll either a diplomacy to try and find out where they're hiding, or perception check to track them down.
Yeah, well, I'm better at asking people stuff, so
I like
let's go
it.
with that.
25. That's actually really good. So, where would you begin your search is my question. Where would you begin the search? You've got the Salt Sprawl, Pearl Village, Copper Place, go to Northway, could ask around in the Narrow Brook. What would you do?
Did Sigbert tell me anything about where?
He's just heard some rumors. People talking in town, in the tavern. He haven't heard anything specific.
Yeah, all right. I think I'd start. Where's the market at? Probably at the market.
The market would be at the market. That is correct.
Yeah. That's where I'm most comfortable, and also where most people are likely to pass by at some point.
All right. And let's see here. So you are in the market and you begin to ask around. Who would you begin asking first? Like, who would you start to press? Like, who'd you ask? Just a stall owner, random citizen, stall owner.
Go around the stall owners and see. Have you seen this?
Get your kvass and fries here. Get your kvass and fries.
Right. All right, not that one. I leave that one alone. No, just kidding. I'll walk up to him.
You can walk up to one of the vendors, any of them, and this one in particular is selling. Well, he's selling some imported like silks and some like fabrics for making clothing, and I don't know, blinds and sheets and things like that. And he's got a pretty nice selection. It's definitely gotten a lot nicer since Eckhart's starting to help coordinate some imports and exports from the city. And he sees you approach and says, "Ah, my good man, what can I interest you in? We have some fine silks from as far away as Absalom themselves. We also have some imported fineries from north in Brevoy, some of the finest craftsmen in the northern land. Though a bit chaotic up there, they make the finest fineries. But what can I interest you in today?"
All right, I'll start looking through his wares first. Does he have anything interesting for starters?
He does. He's got some nice things. He does. He's got some nice, very nice looking silks. And he has a really nice shirt. Do you have spellcraft at all?
No.
It looks real fancy. And he describes it as being a quick runner shirt.
Wow. That's cool. Unfortunately, I'm very poor. I spent all my money on a tavern.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, I will kind of, point out some stuff, try to point at his good wares and try to show him that I know my stuff, first of all. And during the conversation, at some point, I will drop a hint this is very high quality merchandise, my friend. I've seen, as you might know, I work with the Queen a lot, and have seen similar quality in her own wardrobe and other possessions. Tell me, you must get a lot of business. Is that right?
Oh, I sell my fair share of fineries and whatnot, but you mentioned I thought I recognized you, actually. You are part of the Queen's Council, aren't you? Well, I will be more than happy, if this is for the Queen herself, to give a very, very generous discount of 3.5%.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, I had some more grand ideas in mind. In fact, I think that considering the quality of your wares, we might be able to work out a more long-standing agreement. If you would be interested in expanding your business a bit and getting some more customers, more profits.
He is extremely interested in this, seeing as you speak for the Queen. What are you implying, my good man? Fox. Person.
Well, as you might know, I am a bit of an investor around these parts, and I have a good eye for business. Now, however, I would only do such business with someone who knows the market well themselves. I do not wish to work.
I know this market better than anyone.
Is that so?
Eckhardt wanders by blindly in the background.
Mikhael notices a couple of shady deals going on. Eckart's like, "I'm doing a great job."
Yes.
A young family being overcharged for milk. I don't know. It's bad.
Yeah.
His horse going, "You are good. You keep markets safe and fair." Winnie.
You're right, horse.
Horse, you're right.
Yes. And
that was fucking hilarious.
I love that one sometimes.
Beautiful.
Right.
Chef's kiss.
I will ignore Eckhardt in the background and try to segue this into my actual plan.
Yeah, he's ignoring everything too. He sees nothing.
It looks like it, yeah. Go. Where was I? Right.
You're
He
asking
said
him to maybe invest.
he
Crazy
says he
yeah.
knows the market well. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Right. I will proceed and go.
Yeah.
Well, if you are so knowledgeable, I will ask you about this. I heard rumors recently. As you might know, our fair city is a bit closed off to merchants and the like. Recently, we have not had much business with exporting and importing and all that, which is very unfortunate. I'm sure you agree. However, I hear some rumors of some citizens from other cities in Solaria have made their way into Varnhold recently. And
He
I'm
leans
looking
in
to...
very closely, cutting you off. There is a certain halfling, someone from one of the colleges in Linsington. Blonde hair. Some say she's got a bit of a scar on her face. Mostly keeps to herself.
Yes.
I heard, and you can let anyone know that you heard it from me. She's staying in a small shack up in the Narrow Brook.
Well, that is very good information, my friend. Well, I plan to have some talking with her. I believe she might be interested in this amazing play that we have staged here in Varnhold. I'm sure you're aware, and perhaps there might be some business that would involve your fair establishment if I were to talk to her.
Did you seriously just make a picture of Garmichel's Curvos and Fries established 4720? Oh my god, Drew, that is fantastic. Oh my god. Yep, that's gonna get saved.
It's canon now.
All right, hold on. I gotta do a thing really quick. Just bear with me.
That's ADHD, folks.
That is the most beautiful thing. For all the kids at home, I'm gonna drag this onto the Twitch, so you all can see this. This is what Drew just made. This is beautiful. That is canon now. Curvos and Fries established 4720. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Yep. All right. Well done. Well friggin' done. Absolutely fantastic. Perfect.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. But yes, he tells you that he has seen this, heard of this halfling, not seen her, but she is staying apparently somewhere up north, and has mostly been keeping to herself. But yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I finish off my stuff, but yeah, we're gonna do business together now that we'll keep in touch, blah blah blah. And I will head off to find her.
Don't call me, I'll call you.
Yeah, I'll
Beautiful.
call you.
And that man looks so happy. Akrid, you see this guy. You pass by him, and he looks so happy. He actually looks up to you and he goes, I've just made a business deal with the queen herself.
Impressive. Keeps walking.
Keep walking. I love it.
Nice.
I didn't do my patrols. I got
I'm
gotta find the crime.
surprised.
Beautiful.
I'm surprised you
so
heard
much
that
crime.
guy.
So much crime.
I
And
haven't
last
found any crime yet. It's bullshit.
and last but certainly not least, Bix, what would you be up to during this time?
Like how much time do we have?
So
Like 3 days.
we're leaving
3
a little
days.
amorphous, a little undefined, but you've got a couple of days. We're basically, I think what we're waiting for is response from Restov to see if the Sword Lords are willing to help. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, he's yeah, he would just go out, or I guess he'd ask the others if they needed him to do anything. And if not, he would just go out and hunt. That's what he does.
I
Love
could actually
that.
have a request.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
The mountains to the east, does he know when he passes through them that would be easy enough for soldiers to march through?
You mean to the west? Towards Inner Solaria?
West,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
West, other way.
Bix, knowledge geography.
I mean, obviously there can be some climbing involved, but nothing that would require
Easiest way.
extensive training.
Oh, I haven't. Hold on.
I don't know how long it takes to get out there. But if he could take a look too, that would be amazing. But I don't think they have enough time for that.
Oh wait, that was engineering. Hold on.
It's a good thing it was engineering too, because that was a bad roll. Actually, it wasn't a bad roll, just a bad bonus. I see. Because it's not the same knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh,
Yay!
No! Bix,
are you sure
the
about
best,
that roll?
the best pass. The best pass was the Varnhold pass, which is still, as to this date, cut off. You have two options that you know of. You can go north, take the South Roast Land Road, but that leaves your guys completely exposed, and you would have to cross into Brevoy to do that.
Okay. I think during that time then we're gonna go out, the two of us, and scout for
Give us a
passes.
survival check. Let's see if he can survival his way to a good passage. Round 2. Bix Boogaloo. I believe. 20.
Much better.
Bix. Something in your gut. Maybe it's Polly. Maybe it was that aggressive and
Polly?
rude rascal. He says we should travel south. And you end up traveling south. I'm actually going to pivot everyone over to the map of Solaria, so you guys could take a quick peek Skaruskis here. And you got yourself some Varnhold. And you travel south from the city. And you go a couple miles here. It's mountain, 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 mountain. You get about 25, 30 miles outside of the city. It's going to take you pretty much the full 3 days riding on Polly. There is a thin, low with some climbing. It's the thinnest of the mountain range here. The only issue is that when you cross over, you will either have to skirt the edge of Lake Silversteep or figure out a way to forge the river at its narrowest up here and then make your way around. But that is probably your best bet as far as getting through there. And it's mostly unpatrolled because there's really no roads there. So, while it would be somewhat arduous for a couple hundred men and women, it's probably your best bet.
Okay, I will head back to report that and leave the fording of the river to other people.
I love that. I love that. And we're gonna do a little bit of a flash forward, but I'm curious before we do that, Mikhael, would you have headed straight off to go and find this, halfling, or would you have gathered anyone else with you? What would you have done?
Yeah, well, I would have told everyone first.
Okay. Everyone
I've
knows
got
there
it.
is a mysterious halfling. We're gonna call her mysterious now because she wears a hood up and seems to have a scar on her face.
Effort makes a note to meet to make sure Mikhail's still alive the next day.
Brian, we made that terrible joke at the exact same time. It was so beautiful.
The same person.
You can tell we're of a generation.
Yeah,
It's true.
we're like what, like 2 months apart?
Like 6, I think.
Is it?
Because
Okay.
you're May and I'm October.
I'm March. Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
All right.
I would definitely ask Van to come with me because apparently this person is interested in the play, and
She
Van is involved in the play. So
She's been asking
Yep,
questions
that makes
about
sense.
the play, and you're gathering information. She's also been asking questions about the queen. Asking questions about the queen.
well, Ben is involved with the play. I'm involved with the queen. We got it covered.
We got a killer.
Ideally.
And yeah, just gonna.
God, that would be hilarious if you killed her. God, I hope you kill her. Oh my God.
Plot hooks? What are those?
I love
What are those,
it.
Wolf?
No, kill her. Make her dead. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, so let's do this. Let me find a nice looking little shack. You know what? We're gonna go with this little shack. So I'm gonna pivot you guys
Shack's really big as far as I'm aware.
back over to here.
Love shack,
We're gonna use
just a little
this
place
little shack to as our map for this little this potential encounter. Deadly encounter, dare I say, this deadly encounter. So you've made your way out to the edge of town, and you find this small little building. It looks like an old kind of like maybe a fishing shack of some kind. There's a little pathway that walks up to it. It's not dilapidated by any means, but it is all the blinds are shut. The door is closed, and it's very quiet inside there. Mikhael and Ven, it's very quiet. What do you guys want to do?
So I turn to Van and go, all right, remember we're here to ask about Lexington and try to find out what is going on over there. Get some information and perhaps give her something in return if she's interested in the play. Yes?
Right. I'm just here to answer questions while the play, right?
Yes, I mean, if you want to talk, feel free, but don't do
New
any...
information, Mikhael. I think we're becoming friends.
I have already... Never mind, I'm not getting into this again. But yes, no, don't burn the house down or something, yes?
Have I set any fires in? I didn't set the fires in Varnhold. But yes, you know what? I got the magic thing under control.
All right, very well. All right, step up and knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock.
A few moments pass, no answer.
I knock again and call out, excuse me, anyone inside? We're here to talk about the play.
A small, somewhat raspy voice. Almost sounds like she, or the person, has been a long time smoker, where she's maybe like inhaled too much smoke. She calls out, Who is it? Who goes there?
My name is Mikhael. I am a member of the Queen's Council, and I bring with me Van Hallobrand, who is the co-creator of... I don't remember what the play's name is.
I don't think there was one.
I don't think we came up with a name.
Yeah, I tell
You
her
should
the
make
name.
up one right now and make it canon.
Can Brian do it?
Yeah,
Yep.
Either of you.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead.
I gave mine. I threw my hat into the ring.
It's true. That's a pretty good one.
I already made a poster tonight.
Venowar and the Varnhold Adventure. That is pretty good.
You know, I have Vanwivard of Vanwivard and the Varnhold Adventure.
If I could make it more Vinwavar centric, I would, but I don't know how I'd manage that.
Yeah.
Venowar's voluptuous.
Well, no, because
foray.
it can't be about Venwavar because remember it's Dendavar.
Of course.
Oh, damn.
It's 10 things Dendavar can teach us about mayors.
I love
Great.
That. I love
that
that.
one then.
That's actually
There's something
fantastic.
about mayors.
That's really funny. That's actually really funny. And the voice again gets quiet. Still a little
Dad.
raspy. What?
Sorry. Yeah, that halfling eats people. Sorry, I had to zoom into that token a little bit.
Uh-huh.
That halfling eats people. That's funny.
See that halfling?
She
So
she calls
She's
out
just
again.
had a hard life.
How do I know you are? You say who you are. You could be with them. How do we know the queen is even alive? She could be a trick. It's all a trick. All of it's a trick. All of it might be a trick. It's a trick. It might be a trick.
Who's them?
Them. They. Them. Is it true?
Are you talking
Is
about the
it true?
apostles?
And the voice goes silent.
Because we kicked their asses back to Sunspire.
Give me a diplomacy
It's true.
check, either of you. One wants to make it, and one wants to assist.
do you want to make it or assist?
I mean, technically you're supposed to be in charge here, so you should probably make the diplomacy check and I'll just assist.
What? We're just a couple of friends, but yes, you're right. I will make the
We're just a couple of friends, but
What?
damn right I'm in charge.
Just a couple of friends. Oh my god. That is brilliant. What do you say? What do you say, Mikhael? Because that was a 31. I'd like you to back that
Thanks,
up with
Dave.
some actual speaking.
I say, well, as my friend here said, I can assure you there are no apostles here, and we did in fact kick their ass. as you might have heard, the play was in fact based on real facts.
Benoir, you hear the sound of like a magic, maybe rune or some sort of alarm being deactivated. And then you hear the door unlock. Just a few inches, it kind of opens. On the other side, you see a very nervous looking halfling woman. She has horrific burn marks all over the right side of her face. Her one eye is kind of like, almost looks like the ocular bone was crushed at one point. And she looks like she is trying to look inconspicuous. And she just, the side of her face kind of just pokes through the door, just kind of like around through the slit. She looks at the two of you. So it's true then? The queen? She lives?
Yes, of course.
The play, it is factual? It is not a ruse?
No.
Not a trick?
I mean,
not a trick. Always with the tricks.
completely
all
true.
Of them, all of them with tricks. All of the tricks.
I'm sorry. Could you tell us your name, perhaps?
She retreats a little bit. Door closes slightly.
If you are willing, of course. It could be a fake name, just something to call you by.
My name. I haven't spoken my name. I haven't spoken my name in a long time. Many weeks, months, many moons. I was known as... You may call me Lindsay.
There it is.
I knew it. I knew it.
I'll make a local check as well for that.
God, I love it.
Lindsay.
I love that so much that you both just fucked those rolls so bad.
Yeah.
That is the best thing ever.
Could
That's a
Lindsay
nice
be?
name.
Anyway, about Lissington.
Lindsay is a nice name.
Yeah. That sounds somewhat familiar, but I can't place it at all. Might we come in, or are you more comfortable talking to us through the door?
I have an assistant. She can go get us some drinks if you'd like.
She will
Whatever you want.
slowly open the door and welcome you guys in.
Thank you very much. I'll walk in.
You see that there is a broken lute on the table. It's missing several strings and cracked in the center. You see that there are a number of journals and books in a small backpack. They're kind of sprawled around on the desk. And you see that this halfling walks with a really nasty limp, and it looks like some botched healing magic. Her left leg, never fully healed from a really bad break. So, what can I help you with?
Well, we heard that you were asking about the play, and there aren't a lot of people who haven't seen it now, so it was in our best interest to come and see you, ask you some questions. We're thinking of taking it on the road, and we hear you may have come from Linsington.
Just nervously playing with her hands.
Can I help you to the table? Maybe we should sit down. It doesn't look like you can't be very comfortable standing.
She will not take the help, but will, as to the best of her ability, hobble over and sit down at the table and kind of drag the lute towards her and just kind of hold on to it like it's a comfort item of some kind.
Lindsay, I'm going to level with you because Mikhael hasn't said anything yet. What we're looking for is, we want to take the show on the road, but we don't know how safe it is in Linsington, so we're kind of trying to decide between Svetlania and Linsington.
At the mention of Svetlania, her eyes go wide. Don't go there. Nothing but death waits you there. Nothing but death. I've heard the stories, collected all of them. I've listened to everyone. I've listened to them all. It's all dead. They're dead. I couldn't save them. I couldn't save anyone. Somehow I crawled my way out of the rubble. And she kind of starts to lose it in this moment.
But let's talk about the play. Did you have any questions about 10 things Dendevar can teach us about mayors? I'll tell you the opening number, true facts about mayors. I wrote at least half the lyrics to that.
She seems to kind of be drifting into a kind of not psychotic break, but she is not exactly mentally present right now. Her eyes are staring forward. She is cradling that slightly broken lute like it is her best friend, and her fingers are trying to play it, but the strings are busted, and she's just she's looking a little crazy.
Ven recognizes the symptoms and uses Mage Hand and some prestidigitation to like move little people around to do like a choreography for true facts about mayors, so that she can see it. Just like making a comforting, like, this is a noise that is happening while you have your break. Eventually you'll tune back in and it'll be fine. But in the meantime, check out this dance.
And give us a diplomacy check with a +5, because that's cute and creative. I like that. Wow, 29.
Hey.
She snaps out of it and realizes the lute is broken, sets it down, and then places her hands as though she's steadying herself on the table. Do you know Lensington is still loyal to the Queen and the King and to the Council? They are still loyal there. They pretend, as we bards do, they pretend to be supporters of Godfrey, but they do everything in their power. Bardic College, it spreads disinformation amongst the apostles. Solaria still lives. It does. It must. It has to live. And the Queen, she is alive. Yes, she still lives too.
Yes, she is.
And apparently like a wizard showed up.
At the mention of a wizard, she gets really interested in that. A wizard?
Yeah, like a boy wizard. I didn't meet him, but Bix told me about
what was his name?
him.
What was he called?
I don't think Bix mentioned, but he did say it was the son of the harvester.
She all but lunges across the table at Ven, grabbing for his grabbing
told
for
Ben that's
his
sensitive information.
Grabbing for his like
I
cloak.
blame Bix.
And she's not like aggressive, like trying to attack you, but she is just fervent in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And she screams, all but screams. Are you telling me they're alive? Are you telling me they're alive? They're not dead? You're telling me they're not dead? I didn't fail. They're not dead? Are you telling me they're not dead?
Lindsay,
Miss Lindsay,
Mikhael met
please.
him, I think.
Yes, Miss Lindsay.
I'm going to let you both, after all this additional information, make another knowledge local. And my heart of hearts says, God, I hope you fail again. Because that just is some great fuck. That's an 18. That's a 30. God damn it.
Oh, Lindsay!
Oh! Lindsay! The Grand
like
Diplomat of
David,
Solaria! It's
like
the scarring and the
Lindsay?
broken ocular bone, and the fact that she looks a little crazy and her hair is kind of singed and burned, and it doesn't look like it grew back in the right way. Like, it's probably her, though.
It's probably her. Right, so
But she's
begin
basically
saying something,
manhandling.
yeah.
She's manhandling Ven right now, like, roaring about the children are still alive. Oh, God, I didn't fail.
Yeah.
No, Lindsay, it seems like you may have been more successful than you know. There was a...
Yes, apparently all the children of Solaria are alive and well, and they are back.
It breaks down into tears, crying into Venevar's cloak, tears of joy and obvious great amount of time of relief, and stress has been built up, and she is basically non-responsive at this point, and
Then
not very
still
much
recognizing the PTSD. It's just like, oh.
Oh, I've been through that too. But as Lindsay cries into Ven's jacket, I actually think this is going to be a good point to where we are going to kind of end the session here at this point. I want to just kind of leave this note kind of hanging in the air. And our next session, we're going to pick up about a week after this. And you guys can let me know what you would do with Lindsay at this point. She's definitely in a better mood now, but she's a little crazy. So you might want to figure out what to do with her. And we will talk in the Discord about the response from Restov, which, hashtag no spoilers, they're willing to help because they hear Godfrey doesn't have a dick, so they don't want to support that guy. And they also hear that his skull is going to make a great chamber pot, but I digress. But I want to say you guys did a great job today. I know this was pretty heavy role-playing, but that's kind of what this game has become. I like seeing you guys interact and plot and scheme. It's been fun. Hopefully you all had a good time. In the meantime, as I always say at the end of every session, thank you to the players for playing. Thank you for the viewers for viewing, and you'll catch these fine gentlemen next Wednesday for Session 13 of Broken Oaths, the Rise of Solaria, I think is what I'm going to name it, because I think you're raising an army. Rising an army? Raising of Solaria? I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's a work in progress. Hashtag trademark. But anyway, be well, be safe, and happy gaming, everybody. We'll catch you next time.